taken in total, the result is a population thinking that the end is near. Right? And because of the amygdala function in the media airwaves, our airwaves are full of prophets of doom, showing us one nightmare after another.
Threats in the wake of bin Laden's death have spiked.
Famine in Somalia.
Police pepper spray.
Vicious cartels.
Costa cruise line.
Societal decay.
65 dead.
Tsunami warning.
Cyber attacks.
Drug war.
Mass destruction.
Tornado.
Recession. Default. Doomsday.
Egypt.
Syria.
Crisis. Death. Disaster.
Oh my God.
And that's what it seems like, doesn't it? You know? Now, some in the financial industry, they've learned that they can use fear to manipulate. They've learned that they can make a lot of money by scaring the bejesus out of investors. Okay? So investing unafraid habit number one, don't listen to the prognosticators. They guess and gamble with your money.
We've had financial problems in America, let's use America, every 4 to 7 years since the beginning of the Republic. Well, it's been over 8 since the last one. This is the longest, or the second longest in recorded history, so it's coming. And the next time it comes, you know, in 2008 we had a problem because of debt. Henry, the debt. Now, that debt was nothing compared to what's happening now. In 2008, the Chinese had a lot of money saved for a rainy day. It started raining, they started spending the money. Now even the Chinese have debt. And the debt is so much higher. The Federal Reserve, the central bank in America, the balance sheet is up over 5 times since 2008. It's going to be the worst in my lifetime too. Be worried.
Okay. Well, turns out he's been saying this for at least 10 years that we know of anyways.
Forget stocks, buy commodities. What about plain gold? My next guest has long been known as the commodities king on Wall Street, and he's sticking to it. Jim Rogers says gold could cross $2,000 an ounce in the next 5 to 10 years. As you know, gold right now at $1,315. He also believes investors can find a sweet deal in sugar. Let's get right down to it and talk strategy with Rogers Holdings chairman, Jim Rogers. Jim, great to see you.
Delighted to be here, Maria. It's been a while.
Thanks so much for joining us. We always love having you on the program, and your insights obviously are second to none in so many spaces. So before we talk about commodities, let me get your take on where we are in the equities market. The stock market, you warned, could collapse if the global recovery fails to reignite. Where are we right now in that regard?
Well, that's where we are. If the recovery doesn't come along, then stocks are going to go down. If the recovery comes along, the stocks will go up. But, Maria, I'm going to make more money in commodities than in stocks, because if the economy doesn't get better, commodities are going to do well because they're going to print money. And you know Mr. Bernanke and the rest of them are already talking about printing money.
Right, so more printing of money, and that keeps that commodities trade in place. Now, in March, you were with us, and you said you expected another recession by 2012. Are you sticking with that view?
So, to put that in context, we're in the middle of a financial crisis. Okay? You get your statement, counts down, you turn on the news, trying to figure out what to do. He comes on and says that it's going to be the worst in our lifetime. Right? And worse is the media will enable their act. She goes on to say that you've been right so many times in the past.
But let's talk about commodities for a moment. I know you're bullish on gold, sugar. Where's the biggest opportunity right now in the commodities group? You've been so right on this group. When so few people were talking about commodities, you were there pushing it, and you were absolutely right.
So in panic, you sell out. You take his advice, you buy commodities. How do you think you did? $100,000? 5 years later, $43,000. Not too well. Right? Now, in looking back, he wrote this book called Hot Commodities. Right? And surely, doing your own research, it's got 4 stars, so it must be pretty good. Before Jim Rogers hits the road to write his best-selling books, he's one of the world's most successful investors. He co-founded the Quantum Fund and made so much money that he never needed to work again. Yet despite his success, Rogers has never written a book of practical investment advice until now. He started his own commodities index fund, and it's up 165%. There's your commodities play, 100,000 worth 34,000. Right? And stocks went up.
Yeah, Scott, I noticed in that video that the Dow was around 10,000 at that time when he did that video, and then they were talking gold was around 1,300, and gold today is around 1,300 years later, and stocks, we know that instead of 10,000, they're around 25,000 right now on the Dow. So there's a big difference between commodities, which don't do really anything, as opposed to owning businesses, which these businesses are trying to make money for all of us. As long as we own thousands of them, we'll be okay.
Yeah, very good point. 2009, he wrote a book. Okay? This is something that you might want to pick up for the kids. A Father's Lessons for Life and Investing. Okay? And then he moved to Singapore. This book is not translated in English, but just from the cover, I think we can tell what it says, right? He can see the future. Okay? And you'll notice with these prognosticators is they keep recycling these headlines. A crisis could hit any day now. Collapse of the US dollar. The middle class could be wiped out. The US government will not protect you. Okay? Worse than 2008, the tipping point for America. Okay? And America is headed for disaster. Make enough predictions and some will come true.
There are a lot of important and life-threatening and world-changing things going on lately. Sometimes it seems like more than ever, but none of them are as foundation-shaking as the news we received about Brad and Angelina today. As I'm sure you've heard, Angelina Jolie filed for divorce from Brad Pitt, and of course, all the celebrity gossip magazines are claiming victory. They broke this story. They broke the story every week for the last 11 years, over and over and over again, until finally it came true.
I mean, even a broken clock's right twice a day, right?